Hello, my name is Lauren Hendricks, and I am currently doing the video essay for Nova Southeastern University. My NSU ID is N01836839. I'd like to thank you so much for watching this, and I really appreciate it. The first question that needs to be answered is, many students look for careers in which they can help others and make a difference in their lives. Why did you choose occupational therapy, and what do you think makes occupational therapy unique? I chose occupational therapy for my potential career because I think it's an incredibly rewarding and intellectually stimulating profession. I really admire the diversity of the profession and what I've been able to see through my observation experiences, and it's really intrigued me because of the really quick, fast-paced daily lives of OTs and what they're able to see on a daily basis. When I was shadowing at the hand and upper extremity rehabilitation, I saw a really wide variety of different patients. I saw shark bites, I saw Dupuytren's contractures, I saw trigger fingers, and every day was absolutely really interesting, something completely new to observe, and I really enjoyed the opportunity that I had to see OTs think quickly on their feet and provide really unique treatment plans that catered to the needs of the patients. I also really enjoyed the diversity of patients in the ICU. I witnessed patients in post-op. I witnessed patients with COPD and helped them walk down the hospital aisles. Every day was just real. I was really looking forward to it, and I really appreciate the diversity of patients that OTs are willing to see on a daily basis, and it's extremely intriguing to me. I also really appreciate the close relationships that OTs are able to form with their patients. That's one of the things that really drew me to the profession. I feel like a lot of the OTs I know personally have really become good friends with their patients, and I really admire that, and I think that that's what makes the career incredibly interesting, because I think it's really, as well as intellectually stimulating, I really think it's interpersonally stimulating, because you get to form those close friendships, and you get to know your patients over a period of weeks, maybe even months when you're treating them. And I think that that's a great opportunity for me as a potential OT, and that's what makes the career, it sets the career apart from other careers. A lot of times you need that personal face-to-face interaction, be able to get to know that person better and be able to formulate a plan for them as you go every step of the way that really caters to their individual needs. And that brings me to my last point. I feel like OT is a career that sparks lifelong learning and innovation. It requires you to think on your feet, it requires synthesis, it requires critical thinking, and I feel like that is what makes the career very special. And I believe that's why the career would be extremely rewarding for me, and I really am looking forward to it. The next question is, what led you to believe that Nova Southeastern University was the right place for your occupational therapy education? For me, I have been extremely interested in attending NOVA since I first started the OT application process, and even before that, because I have known a lot of really successful professionals, people that I'm personally friends with, and people that I've actually interned with, congressional aides, people in law school, and I have just heard so many positive things about the university, and I've actually toured and visited myself to see, and I'm very impressed. I've heard really good things about the quality of professors and the quality of education that these professionals have received. I know people in law school there, people in graduate school there, and they just have really great things to say about it. And they said that if they had the choice to do it over, they would be attending NOVA again. So that really intrigues me, and brings me to my next point. I'm extremely interested in NOVA because I have only lived in small towns. I come from the town of Vero Beach, Florida, which is extremely cloistered, and I really want to branch out. I went to school in Beloit, Wisconsin for a year, which is an extremely rural town, and even the town of Gainesville, when I went to University of Florida, is still a little bit isolated in terms of being close to a metropolitan area. And that's what intrigued me about NOVA. I really would like to work in South Florida for my professional career, and I feel like NOVA would be a great segue for that in terms of allowing me to do so and having me be able to do fieldwork opportunities in that area, and just offering me that really cool opportunity. And this brings me to my last point. I was very impressed by the diversity of the fieldwork and the ability, what I've read about NOVA and the ability for students to work side by side with faculty. I believe that is the absolute best way to learn. If you're learning and working alongside the best, you are going to potentially learn the most you can. And I think that's very important to be working with people like that. And I'm very excited about the intimate class sizes, having come from a big university. And I feel like all of these are what makes NOVA extremely attractive to me. My next question is, describe a situation in which you received negative feedback about your performance in work, school, or another activity. How did you feel about that negative feedback, and what was your immediate response? If you had the chance to do it over, what would you change and why? For me, I remember this as clear as day. I remember really struggling in a class my sophomore year when I attended Beloit with, I remember her name clearly, Professor Ann Davies, and the class was the Intro to Political Thought. I remember the class was very interesting, but when I received my first paper back, it was literally bleeding red everywhere. This citation, that citation, poor transitions, paragraphs not very coherent. And I remember being a little bit taken aback by that and thinking, oh my goodness, I was a little bit shocked, to be honest. And I remember talking with the professor afterwards and really coming up with a game plan on how to improve my writing to get to that college level that they were expecting. What's funny is I honestly, I don't know what I could have done over again. I feel like I did the best that I could for the level of writing that I had, the level of experience, and I feel like it was extremely important to have someone critique me on that level. And actually what's funny is this professor and I became very close. I actually went over to her house for dinner and we actually discussed my papers over there. And I thought it turned out extremely well. And I feel like what I learned from her in terms of writing papers actually set the precedent for my future papers that I wrote for my major at the University of Florida. And I'm honestly very thankful for that type of critique, because I feel like being coddled isn't the way you learn something. You have to learn the harsh reality of what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. So I honestly formed a great relationship with her at the end, and I think that was kind of like the push that I needed in order to bolster my writing level. This brings me to my next question. You are assigned to work on a departmental project with another coworker that will market occupational therapy to physicians. This coworker has been at the facility longer than you and does not really see the need for the project. What would you do? Please explain your rationale. Well, for me, firstly, I would really try to get together and discuss the issue with them. I would try to figure out their point of view, and I'd also offer my personal point of view to them. And I try and have a two-way conversation and put myself in their shoes and listen to what they have to hear, and I'd really try to work it out with them to the best of my ability. And I try to encourage them and tell them the positive points about why I think that they should work on the project with me. After that, if they still are hesitant or still don't really feel like this is the project they want to work on with me, then I'll completely respect their opinion. It's important to respect their opinion because they are a professional, and I would do that completely. And I would then, after that, if they decide not to work on it with me, I would honestly ask other coworkers or somebody else that I feel like would be a good addition to my team that I could work with and learn from, and I'd ask anyone else if they were interested. So I could still be able to do the project, but be with someone who's more enthusiastic about it. So that would be the plan of action that I would personally take, and I feel like that would hopefully be successful. This brings me to my last question. Please tell us something about yourself that distinguishes you as an applicant to our program. For me, I believe that I persevere until my passions become a reality, and I feel like this is exactly what I've done in the admissions process to get to this point to be able to apply to OT school. I am currently not a traditional applicant. I did not take the pre-OT track in college. I was actually a political science major, and I didn't even know I wanted to be an OT until midway through senior year, when I became acquainted with the field of rehabilitative therapy personally when I injured my wrist. And after this experience, I knew that OT was the correct career for me. I loved the relationship I spent with the therapist. And then after that, I graduated with almost none of my prerequisites completed. And so guess what I did? I took the bull by the horns and I did everything in my power to make sure that I would be ready for that 2017 admission cycle. This entire past year, I have been working on prerequisites. I have completed almost all of my prerequisites. I have really took the bull by the horns. I've amassed over 200 observation hours during my time. I did a work abroad because I do want to work in South Florida. I really want to bolster my Spanish, so I thought that that would be a great way. I volunteered in Costa Rica for 2 months, and during this time, I was really able to bolster my Spanish. And I feel like it's a combination of those things. I really have spent this past year giving it my all in terms of being ready to apply for admissions. And during this process, a lot of friends looked at me, oh my goodness, like, wow, are you serious? You did not take that track at all. Are you crazy? You're doing all that in a year? And I said, yes, absolutely. I am extremely strong, I'm extremely resilient, and I really do what I think, I do what I set out to do, and I really try to make the most of my opportunities. I have done so in college, and I have done so this year preparing for admissions, and that is why I'm sitting here today doing this video, and I feel so incredibly privileged to be sitting here and having this opportunity to showcase myself and have you guys get to know me a little bit better. And I'm sitting here today because this is what I truly want to do with my life. I've spent the past year completely doing a 180, and I feel like I've gotten to this point and I can't be happier. And I really hope that I can share my experiences with you, bring my personal drive to the campus, bring my intellectual curiosity to your campus. And I really, really hope I can continue my dream of being an OT, and I really hope to do that as a Nova Shark. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I hope to be in touch with you soon.